G'day, Brian and Mark with you. Today we're talking running drills. So Mark, running drills are often done by runners, often prescribed by coaches, but by my estimation, probably only about 50% of the time do I either know why they're actually doing them. So today we're hopefully going to shed a bit of light on that. So what are we going to have a look through today?
Well, today we're going to go through some basic running drills that everybody can do. You're right in that a lot of people know about them and a lot of coaches do prescribe them, but there tends to be this sort of stigma that a lot of the drills are for maybe only elite runners or really good runners. It's actually definitely not the case. We'd love to see a lot of our beginner runners and returning to runners getting involved in these running drills. They really start getting some good activation happening for glutes and hamstrings without putting a lot of pressure on the body as well. So today we're going to go through a couple of different ones, but we're looking at doing the one that's called the A march, A skip, B march, and B skip.
B skip, yep.
And then we're going to go through some general sort of activation type exercises where you're not actually moving along the ground.
So bum kicks.
Yep.
There's also another one called fast feet, which we'll have a look at. And did you mention the pull back drill?
And the pull back drill.
And the pull back drill,
which is a standing one where you're actually supporting yourself.
Yeah. So that one's a good lead into the B march and B skip drill, which are actually a bit more challenging for uncoordinated people such as myself. So the pull back drill is not a bad place to start if you struggle to pull together some of these more difficult movement patterns.
Yep.
Awesome. So if we're talking A march, what are we trying to work on with the A march drill?
Well, all of these drills, the marching and the skipping drills, all involve, again with everything else that we talk about with our running, involve getting the glute activated and firing. So yep. With the A march and skip, the leg that's supporting the body on the ground is the one where the glute is turning on, and that glute turning on when it hits the ground is the impetus and almost the trigger for the opposite leg to come up at the
swing
front.
Leg to come through.
That's it.
So this drill is often called the high knees drill.
Yes.
As well. And
it is
probably,
in action only.
Yes, in action only. But yeah, I think a lot of people think it's just about trying to get your knees up high, yep. But getting your knees up high isn't necessarily a determinant about how fast or how well you're going to run, because if you can't actually activate what's on with the muscles supporting the supporting leg, where are you going?
That's right. Yeah. Think of it as when your leg contacts the ground, the glute turns on. That really is the go button for that opposite leg to swing back through.
Yep.
So, and we'll do some demonstrations of that.
Yep. So, and as the walking pattern, that's a nice easy place to start, yep. And to get the basic movement down. And as you progress that, then you can move on to the skipping pattern, which
yes.
is the A skip part of the drill.
Yep.
And I would say even more so, that's a great prompt or trigger, as you've just said, to get that swing leg firing, but only after the support leg loop and hamstring kicks in.
Yes. Yep. And you get that pop with the skip type drills. You then get that pop with the yep. support leg that we're after.
Yep. Excellent. So moving on to the B march, and perhaps even if we start with the pullback drill
yes.
that we mentioned.
Yep.
Very good for practicing an element that we focus on, which is this active landing.
Yep.
So getting glutes and hamstrings firing just before and as you're contacting the
yes.
ground.
Yep. We've used it a lot with a lot of our beginner runners where their landing is very passive. They tend to probably hit quite often heel first and then very, very passive landing. So used it a lot with them just to learn how to actually activate glutes and hamstrings just prior to landing, so that they're contacting the ground with a nice sort of active
yep.
posture.
And because you're hanging onto something, you're a little bit more stable, so you can just think about that movement part rather than having to worry too much about supporting your body on the
That's
opposite
right.
leg. So much easier to master if you're not as confident with the other drills.
Yeah, absolutely. And as people still sort of gaining some strength and confidence in changing their movement patterns, this is a really good place to start.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on to the B march.
Yes.
Got to get our A's and
sorry,
the B. No, well, what
B
about
march,
B
yes.
march?
B
yes,
march
B
first.
march. Don't want to get our A's and B's mixed up. So B march, again, we're taking away support, but we're doing it in quite a slow, deliberate walking type pattern.
Yes, absolutely. So instead of sort of leaning up against a tree or a pole or something, we're actually just slowly moving across the ground in a walking pattern. But again, we're looking for that early activation prior to landing.
Yep, excellent. So, and then moving on to the skipping element, which
Yes.
this is definitely not to me anyway, it's not a beginner movement. I've been playing around with this quite a bit on your insistence in my training, Mark. And it's not an easy one to master, but it becomes much more dynamic, and you've really got to think about quite a few parts of the running pattern that you're trying to execute at once in an exaggerated fashion. And that isn't quite as easy as some very coordinated people make it look.
Yep, that's true.
So when I'm trying to practice that, what things am I trying to do?
Again, you're bringing some elements from the A march and the A skip into it, which is that, especially the skip part in the A movement, which is the pop and the drive from the glutes to be the impetus for the other leg to come up and out.
Yep.
And then bringing the element from the standing pullback.
Yes.
That activation again.
Yep.
So it's actually adding the elements from the A march and skip as well as the pullback all into one actual drill. So it is hard at the start, but with practice it actually comes reasonably quickly. As long as you do the progression from the pullback, then the B march into the B skip, you do the progression that way, it actually comes a lot easier. There's no point going straight into the B skip without coming through the levels.
Yeah. So with this drill, really focusing as the foot's coming back down into the ground, you really kind of hear a good scuffing kind of slapping sound. You're really putting some power down with the glutes, and when I was doing this one last week, I ended up with quite a sore butt actually after doing it. So I'm hoping that means I was doing it properly. Yes, that's right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple of other ones that people often do are bump kicks.
Yep.
Why are we doing that?
Well, bump kicks are really just an hamstring activation exercise. One thing with bump kicks that probably doesn't get done maybe well enough. People tend to be doing their bump kicks, leaving their legs way out the back, and it's actually more of it's a bump kick slash pull through type movement all in one. That's how we want to be running, so we're going to practice that with the bump kicks.
And I've been finding a bit of a side benefit of that one is it actually gives my hip flexors, especially the rectus femoris, a good kind of stretch out as I'm doing it.
Yes, it does.
So some people who sort of suffer from knee tendonitis, patellar tendonitis, might find that a good drill to throw into the mix just to keep that kind of stretched out. If you're not getting that range in a normal running pattern, you can do it with the drill.
And a lot of people that have been that typical sort of quad dominant runner that we're trying to make some changes into, that sort of posterior chain runner, found that when they're doing that bump kick drill, they really feel some sort of pressure, not tightness so much, but just a little bit of pressure on and stretch out of the of the quad muscles across the knee doing that drill. So it is a good one to definitely. It's almost like a dynamic stretch for the quads a little bit as well.
Absolutely, I definitely can feel that. Fast feet.
Yes.
So this is quite a contained type movement.
Yes, it is. It's just again, it's a little, very small movement pattern, but it's a little quick glute activation exercise.
Yeah. So if you're struggling probably to turn your stride over a little bit faster, if you're looking to increase your stride rate, this is probably not a bad one to kick off, particularly maybe some of your faster running sessions with that drill, just to get everything
firing properly. Absolutely.
Yep. Excellent. Well, I think we've covered everything that we set out to there with our drills, so hopefully you enjoy trying some of these out and that this video has been helpful to you.